Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our October Connecticut Ireland Trade Commission meeting. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that my fellow co-chair, Emmett Riley, is unable to join us today due to another scheduled meeting. With that, I would like to convene today's meeting. We'll begin with Professor Christine Keneally, Director of Ireland's Great Hunger Institute and Professor of History at Quinnipiac University, who is scheduled to do a presentation for us today. I'd like to thank Dr. Keneally for offering to do this presentation and giving us her time. So with that, take it away, please, Dr. Keneally.
Okay, thank you. I have a PowerPoint, so I hope I can just share it. And I just arrived back from Ireland on Sunday night. I was teaching yesterday. I've just finished a podcast on the Great Hunger. So if I look a bit demented, I sort of am. But hopefully this will go well. Okay. Okay, can people see that? Okay. Screen sharing, slideshow. No. Okay, I haven't done this since COVID, so I'm a bit out of practice, but can you see that? I'm sorry, it's been a bit not as neat as
Yes, we can see that, Dr. Keneally. We can see that.
Okay.
Yeah, I would only say that, I don't know, Patricia, from your end, if you can make her more like a presenter so we don't get the panels.
Yeah, okay. I think I've done it. Okay. Oh, well, actually, can you see that, everyone? And,
Yeah.
It's just showing up as a panel. I'll see what I'm going to switch to my iPad. I'm on the phone and it's showing up with every panelist. So it's rather small.
Fix now.
If we could just go to speaker, maybe.
I think we just did it.
I think if you're on your computer, maybe hide thumbnail.
Here we go. It's worked out perfectly.
Yes, Dr. Keneally, we can see the full screen now.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so this is my theme is connectedness, and I know some people are interested in professional sharing and qualifications, which is not my expertise. So I'm just going to talk about third level educational links and in the context of what is already happening and perhaps the potential for what we could also do. So I will be quick. So why are we doing this? Well, essentially because, as we know, we all want to strengthen links between Connecticut and Ireland. Part of the rationale also is to create global citizens, because a mission of most universities is to increase global awareness among students, and this is a great way of doing it. And then the other part of it is the growth of educational cultural tourism. And I know this committee has talked about education and culture as being central themes of what we do. And you all know Ireland, so I don't need to tell you that Ireland offers a very rich cultural, political, architectural, scenic, historical, mythological, musical, edible, post-colonial, filmic, etc. range of opportunities for visitors to Ireland. I hear somebody's dog, which is my dog sends its greetings. So what are the advantages of Ireland? And again, they're obvious. Ireland is English speaking, which for my students is a great selling point, and it's a gateway to Europe. And what I know from my own students is once they've been to Ireland once, they often take their families and they go back again. So sending students is a great way of forging a long-term relationships. So just to look at some of the universities in Connecticut, I'm just trying to shift my thing. Depending on the source, and it does vary, there are 37 to 44 colleges that can grant degrees in Connecticut. The largest, you probably know this, is the University of Connecticut, which has about 30,000 students. And the oldest is, and most prestigious, I would say, Yale University, which has approximately 13,000 students, so quite a difference. And Yale is mostly divided between undergraduate and postgraduate students. It doesn't want, okay. I'm sorry. This doesn't want to respond to me. I'm going to get rid of you. Okay. Ireland is very, very different. There are only 8 universities in the Republic of Ireland. You've probably heard of most of them. UCD, which is Dublin, Cork, National University of Ireland, Maynooth, which started life as a seminary, Trinity College Dublin, which I did my PhD there, so I'm pretty biased towards it, University of Limerick, Dublin City University, and Technological University Dublin. And then there are 5 technological universities and 2 institutes of technology, all scattered around. But by American standards, there are not that many universities in Ireland, so it's very manageable. And this is, again, you probably know if you've visited the Book of Kells, the beautiful long library, the old library, the long room in Trinity College Dublin. And again, the funding structure is very, very different in Ireland. All of the above universities receive state funding. And in the Republic, most of the funding comes from what's called the Higher Education Authority. So just a few random facts. Oldest university, Trinity College, founded 1592 by Elizabeth I, and it was founded for Protestants exclusively. And when I attended there in the 1980s, it was still more Protestants than Catholics. That obviously has changed. The largest university in Ireland is UCD, which has about 35 students. Fees, this is a biggie. There are no student fees in Ireland. There are what they call administrative charges, and 2004-05, it was 2,000. That was reduced for a year. This current year, it's 3,000 in euro, which is about 3,500 in dollars. And then I was there in Ireland last week when there was a budget, and the budget actually reduced student fees permanently by 500 euro. So student fees, even though students complain all the time about them in Ireland, are actually manageable and very, very different from the fee structure in America. Overseas students, of course, have to pay more, and they typically range from 10 to 25,000 euro a year. And postgraduates can pay a lot more depending on what they do. So science postgraduate qualifications tend to be more expensive. And then the other thing that is happens in Ireland is most undergraduate degrees are only 3 years duration, as opposed to the typical 4 years in America. And just, I know, because there are problems getting students at the moment, there's what we call demographic cliff, that a lot of American universities are currently discussing going to a 3-year model of education and what that would mean, because obviously it makes us a lot more financially attractive for potential students. Higher education in Northern Ireland, so mainly 2 universities, Queen's, which has smaller campuses, and then Ulster University, which has various campuses stretching over to Magee campus in Derry. And again, funding is very different. Mostly they get government grants, Department of the Economy. Student fees go towards that. And then, again, this is something that is in the United Kingdom. Universities who are, as it's known, research active, their faculty produce a lot of publications or things that make an impact, also attract additional funding. So you might think, why do Irish academics publish so much? This is an incentive to publish. You bring money into the university. And then, of course, there are various grants, etc. Fees, for the most part, students in Northern Ireland pay just under £5,000, which is under $7,000. If they're from Northern Ireland, the rest pay a bit higher. And then overseas students, it varies institution to institution. And if I can just say, this year, overseas student numbers have increased on both sides of the border in Ireland. You'll probably know why. So just moving back from Ireland, what is being offered in Connecticut colleges regarding Irish programs? Well, it's pretty good. Sacred Heart universities offer an Irish Studies minor, and they actually have a beautiful campus in Dingle. And if you look at it, it's actually an old workhouse. The workhouses in Ireland were built to the same design, so you can often spot one. But they have renovated it. They acquired it 2017 and they just renovated it this year. And you all know how beautiful Dingle is. It's remote, but it's worth the effort of getting to. And they can host more than 500 students. and they allow students who are not Sacred Heart to come for both long and short-term study programs. And they can house 180 students, which is significant. Fairfield University, one of their specialities is the colonial and post-colonial history of Ireland and what has recently happened in Northern Ireland as well. And just this is taken from their catalogue, and they have interest in the role of the global economy. So again, the focus on making our students globally aware, and we're better than in Ireland. And they have a long-standing relationship with the University of Galway. So a lot of their students would go there, and they can go for a semester or a year, or a semester or for a year abroad. University of Connecticut, they offer a number of Irish programs, and they also offer learning the Irish language. And they have a particularly strong relationship with UCD, University in Dublin. So you can see there's a good spread of where people go. Yale University, hard to find information. So they did have a program, Irish Studies, and now they call it History, Politics and Social Change, which seems to be a dilution. They do have an Irish Society, which I was trying to track, open to all students, but I couldn't find anything about it. But maybe you need to be internal. And then just a random fact, which sort of intrigued me. The first student from Ireland was William Robinson, class of 1841-42. He was not a Catholic, but Scots-Irish Presbyterian from Belfast, and he was a fervent Irish nationalist, so very much against the grain there. And then Quinnipiac University, which is my university, and under the leadership of two presidents ago, President John Leahy, he decided to have a focus on the Great Hunger. And in the 1990s, he started collecting with the help of Kenny's Bookshop in Ireland. So in the Arnold Bernhard Library, which is on our main Mount Carmel campus, we have an incredible Irish collection of primary and secondary sources, mostly relating to the Great Hunger, but not exclusively. And if anybody wants to come and see our collection, I would really welcome them. We had Ireland's Great Hunger Museum, which was the largest collection of Irish art relating to the Great Hunger. It was opened in 2012, and unfortunately, it closed 2020 because of COVID. And the following year, President Judy Olien announced it was not reopening. The collection is mostly currently just, I suppose, gathering dust. It's not really doing much. And the building is empty, which is unfortunate because it was very much part of a larger vision of the Great Hunger. And then Ireland's Great Hunger Institute, which is me, we have mine in Irish Studies, international conferences, publications, etc. And we currently have an exhibition on Indigenous aid to Ireland during the Great Hunger. You probably know the Choctaws, Cherokees gave, and Native Indigenous peoples in Canada sent money to Ireland 1847. It's open to the public. You're very welcome if you'd like to come and see it. Quinnipiac University, what else do we offer? A semester abroad in Quinnipiac. We send 37 to 38 students every, mostly spring semester. Before COVID, it was 70, but the reduction is due to accommodation in Ireland, not lack of interest here. We also send 3 cohorts of students to Trinity College Law School every year, and then we have a relationship with University College Dublin Medical School. And my visual is to remind me to say that on campus we have an Irish dance club, an Irish dance society as well. So visual reminder. And then sports, Ireland or Quinnipiac is famous for its ice hockey team. And in 2016, Quinnipiac's ice hockey team took place to the Frozen Four in Belfast. I designed a course on Belfast and attended with my class of students. In total, 130 people associated with Quinnipiac attended, parents, fans, students, etc. And while we were there, we did a number of cultural add-ons. It was Thanksgiving week. We had Thanksgiving dinner, Titanic Museum. We did a banquet, Game of Thrones, private tour of Stormont, Christmas markets, and of course we attended the ice hockey game. So visiting Ireland again, just going for an ice hockey game can turn into a much wider cultural experience that is not just for students, but alumni, etc., etc. So moving on from there, the universities, community colleges, I couldn't find any reference to any community college in Connecticut offering any Irish Studies program. So obviously there's space for development there. And just in terms of opportunities for growth, community colleges, high school students who want to go to Ireland, alumni, Irish Americans, general public, etc. So these are people who could, from Connecticut, build closer relationships with Ireland. There is a Study in Ireland fair every year. This year it was held Westport Public Library. So again, if people were interested and wanting to know to go to Ireland, and you can see it's sponsored by the universities, so it's very much aimed at people who want to study. And in Ireland, there's more a study of older people, if I can put it that way, studying. So I know in America, most of my students come in at 18, but in Ireland, older students are very welcome. And often they are the ones who come back to study. And as students, they're usually pretty good. There are some other programs that go to Ireland that are not university based. So there's an Institute of Study Abroad. They offer short-term programs based in Donegal, and they have a civil rights focus, and they work with community colleges in America and with historic Black universities. CIE, you may have experienced some public transport in Ireland. If you want to go to Ireland, they can create boutique travel experiences and tours. So they're going to Ireland. And then there's Council on International Educational Exchange, CIEE, not to be confused with CIE. And they were founded in 1947. And America's oldest, largest nonprofit study abroad. They send 35 students both ways every year. So they do incredible work. And part of their program is the prestigious Frederick Douglass Daniel O'Connell Global Fellowship. I'm personally involved with that. I actually have taught on it for the last 4 years. I go to Ireland twice over summer to teach on it. And this is actually my students with me this year. I gave a talk at Trinity College on Daniel O'Connell, his 250th birthday. And I don't know if you recognize the man in the back, but my students got to meet the Taoiseach, so that was really powerful. So these are some of the potential people who are working in Ireland at the moment, and that could be expanded. And just to end with the wolfhound in the room, we are living in a changing landscape politically, and there is now social media vetting for students who want to come to America. They're required to show their social media postings, and that is a deterrent. And actually, universities in Ireland and Britain have benefited from students who are not coming to America. And just anecdotally, some of my colleagues who were thinking of coming to America this year have chosen not to, because they really don't want to put themselves through any sort of vetting process. So we're just in that situation at the moment, and who knows where it will end or how long it will last for. But just it does add a complication that I don't think we should ignore at all. But this changing landscape in America has become Ireland's opportunity, because James Lawless, Minister for Education, in May 2025, not so long ago, actually offered academics who are in America currently and who would like to leave the American university system will find a welcoming host for the best and the brightest. So Ireland is proactively seeking academic scholars to, if they don't want to remain in America, to come to Ireland. And I have to say it's pretty controversial, and a lot of my academic friends are not too happy with it. But again, this is where we are at the moment. And so that's my presentation. I just want to say thank you, and any questions, comments would be very welcome. So thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Dr. Keneally. And we'll open the floor now for discussion and questions from members, if you have any.
Sorry, that's my dog. Sorry, Coo. Stop. Coo Cullen.
Madam Chair.
Senator, please go right ahead.
Yes, hi. I'm sorry that I joined you a little bit late, and very instructive presentation, Doctor. What about, can you give us an update on the H-1B visa situation, how that is playing out, what you've experienced?
I don't, and a lot of it is anecdotal, and people are very cautious about making any dogmatic statements or anything to unequivocal, because people don't want to inflame opinions anymore. But it just seems all the visa situation, both anecdotally and what I'm reading in the newspapers, is actually a deterrent. People just would rather not risk coming to America. And I think, as we saw with Harvard, the situation can change very quickly. So people are feeling pretty vulnerable about it. And again, who knows how long this situation will last, where it will end up. But I haven't managed to get definitive figures on anything. I have been looking for them.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I know we're all kind of holding our breath. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
And I believe that Representative Meskers has a question as well.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for the presentation on what we're doing on the basically on the academic side, right? On the commercial side, have you had much contact with either American firms moving into Ireland or Irish firms looking to move into the States? Have you had any direct conversations with any corporations involved in the exchange?
No, and that would not be my speciality at all. I am based in the university, etc. So I haven't, but I would just imagine, and following on from the previous question, there's just a lot of uncertainty at the moment. People are a bit nervous about what will happen. So it's unfortunate that this has happened just as we've been established. I just think there's a lot of uncertainty, and it's hard to say how this will play out.
Well, just I'd leave you with in your dialogues going forward, should there be such opportunities, I would either through Emmett or directly through Senator Hartley or myself with the co-chairs of Commerce, if there are any inquiries that come from Irish corporations or American corporations, we want to help facilitate that commercial aspect as well as the academic side. So you can count on our support for those activities.
Yeah.
In relation to Yale, if you would remember, if you could direct the questions that you had about Yale and what they're doing, send that over to Patricia, who's also the clerk for Patricia Kramer, who's also the clerk for Commerce. We'll reach out we always get to see the Yale lobbyists in the Capitol building. Mm-hmm. So we can ring that bell or get that answered for you most likely, to figure out what their activities for engagement is and facilitate some of those inquiries. And as well for other academic institutions, if you're not getting the answers, we do get either the individual institutions have representation that they send to lobby at the Capitol, or they have a lobbyist. We can redirect it, and they tend to come back to us because they're always looking to, as they say, butter their bread. And those are easy answers for them. They're no cost, and to make us happy, they'll try to facilitate. So it's worthwhile.
Okay, right? Thank you.
You're welcome.
And just two things I maybe should have had. I forgot when I talked about CIEE, which is the association that sends 35,000 students each way every year. The program they're doing in Ireland, which is, I think, really interesting, is not just educational, they've changed it. It's internship. So the young students who went this year, and they've done it for 2 years, they actually go and they work as interns in Ireland with companies. And I think that could work both ways. So I think that's something that could be developed in the future. And then something I meant to mention more generally, you all know it's America's birthday next year. America 250, but there is a group, Irish America 250, that is looking for projects. So if you felt there was anything Connecticut based that could fall in the remit of Irish America 250, I'm on the board. I'm certainly happy to bring that forward if anybody has any ideas about fitting into Irish America 250. And I have to say, it's a very broad church.
Perfect. And I unfortunately point at Patricia to make note that Patricia Kramer reminds us so that we keep that on the agenda, both for the commission and for the Commerce Committee. So it's very important. So thank you. We'll try to put that to the forefront.
Thank you very much. And Representative Meskers, I do want to address a question about businesses who are interested in coming to Connecticut. It was actually going to be asked later on, but there is a business, an Irish business owner that has asked to meet me in Stamford. I was going to email Patricia to see if there was some sort of an area on a website for the government that there are frequently asked questions and answers for businesses that want, are considering Connecticut as a location. So I should email Patricia and ask her to let you know when I'm meeting with this person down in Stamford. He's coming to look at a building as a headquarters for his business, and it's AI, environmental controls. So if you're interested in doing that, I'll send it on to Tricia and we can arrange to meet in Stamford next week.
Absolutely. And we could have that similar conversation with, it's the Department of Economic Community Development in the governor's office.
Okay, so I will
And I
email
would, and
that.
I'll defer to Senator Hartley any other ideas. Next week, blanketly, I think I'm around. I am going to a conference in California, I think the 21st to the 24th. So I haven't looked at the calendar to see what days you're talking about.
Okay, so if you can't make it, we will definitely include you in all those emails. Thank
Perfect.
you so much. Does anybody else have questions for Dr. Keneally today?
Okay, thank you. And please come and visit our exhibits. Come and see Quinnipiac, what we have, because it's we do have an interesting Irish collection, a unique Irish collection, and the Sleeping Giant Mountain is beautiful this time of year. So you'd all be very welcome.
Thank you
I
very
have
much.
a couple of comments I would like to make in terms of the interest level of Irish companies. We have an innovation co-working location here in New London, and we've worked with several companies, I mean 4, perhaps 5, over the past couple of years, as they explored the possibility of setting up shop here in the States, in Connecticut. And I will say that there's a significant degree of hesitation in the last couple of years. The conversations have essentially stopped in terms of having a potential presence here. I think this group should be more proactive in maybe having even a delegation going to Ireland to meet with business people, to introduce them to the great state that we have and the great opportunities here halfway between Boston and New York. You know all of the benefits, but talking about it is not enough. I think there has to be something more proactive, perhaps having the governor go and meet with a delegation over there. But there is an interest. There really is an interest. Our current situation is not going to last forever. So now is a good time to prepare to build a strong commercial connection with Ireland.
Thank you very much. All right, so thank you again, Dr. Keneally, for your presentation today. It was very interesting and insightful.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry, I don't mean to ruin the agenda here, but just 2 things. Yes, with regard to the business endeavors, we are working with the senator whom we had lunch with back in July, and my apologies, his name escapes me right now, to put together a pitch to Advance CT, which is the economic development arm of the state. And we provided them with, the sectors which the state right now is most interested in scaling. And they were working, the senator and his team, to put together an opportunity to come and make a pitch to our economic development arm. So that's in the process right now. And then the other thing I wanted to mention to the professor is that I had the opportunity to spend some time over these last couple of months with an Irish poet who was here in the States, Gear Reedy, who's very well known in Ireland. He was here doing some poetry readings and is very interested in coming back again. So if there is any form that, the university might be working on, I would love to connect with you on that and share it with Gare.
Okay.
The senator's name is Senator Daley.
Daley, that was it.
Yeah, Joe and I attended that luncheon with you.
Yeah.
And but nothing has happened since. So, I think my point is we need to be proactive here if at all possible.
Actually, yes, I met with Senator Daly in September in Ireland in the Oireachtas, and we had a lengthy conversation with ideas that he would like to see us fulfill. But apparently there are things that there are regulations that are holding things up. He wanted a list of our email addresses, and because we don't have Connecticut, some of us do not have Connecticut.gov email addresses. That seems to be a hindrance there. He also had requested that we do an event. He had mentioned January around the state of the state with the governor, but I think that that's not going to work. March seems to be a very busy month with Irish Heritage Month. So we, myself and fellow committee member Paddy Leshane had discussed, and I think that Dr. Keneally will be interested in this, doing something around Irish Famine Commemoration Day, which is held annually in Ireland. And we have started to do it in Fairfield. We did it for 2 years. It's the third Sunday in May. So we could create an event in May for the commission and invite the governor and always include Senator Bob Duff and invite Senator Mark Daly. But he did stress the importance of doing a big event and also looking to see if current companies, Irish companies in Connecticut, would sponsor a trip of delegates over to Ireland as well in August. So there are conversations happening, but there are obstacles in the way right now that we just need to sort out. I hope that helps answer some questions.
If I might, in terms of if there's trouble with communication, it would seem to me unless the communication represents some nefarious communication, that the communication can be directed to the clerk of the committee, and the committee can then, the clerk, assuming that the emails are approved, can forward them out to the members of the committee.
Okay, Representative Ernst, that sounds like if we all reach out to Patricia and give her our consent to send in our emails, is that what you're suggesting?
Well, I was of the opinion that there might be a difficulty in terms of the receipt from Mark Daly out to us, and Patricia is the clerk on the committee, and she could forward on the emails that she received as a matter of correspondence, right? And if it's the other way around, I guess the question is, if you're sending requests on behalf of the committee, I would think you could probably forward it through the clerk, although that could be a little onerous for our clerk. So I'm sympathetic to her. So, but I would think we can do it back and forth that way.
Okay, thank you for that suggestion. We have one more question here from.
Just a comment. We're already receiving information from the clerk. So anything that Daly wants to send to the clerk, she can then pass on along to us. And that would be the easiest way to work around the fact that many of us don't have public email. Great.
Okay, so that is clear. So clearance from the chairs will allow all other committee members to receive emails from Senator Mark Daly. Thank you for that clarification. Are there any other questions before we move on with the agenda items? Okay, thank you for that. The next agenda item will be the discussion of the subcommittees and their purpose, designation, and membership. And with that, if a fellow committee member, Paddy Leshane, is on Zoom, maybe you'd like to talk a little bit about our meeting for Arts, Culture and Heritage. Paddy Leshane is not on, so I can give you a quick brief. We talked very, very quickly about connecting with businesses, societies, organizations in Connecticut that deal with culture, arts and heritage. And of course, there will be some crossover as well with education. But we also discussed the fact that there are clubs within clubs in some of these Irish societies and clubs in Connecticut. For example, in Fairfield, in the Gaelic American Club, there's Clan na Gael. There is an Irish language club. There's a genealogy society. So there are clubs within clubs. And it's important also to keep in mind that a huge part of Irish culture is sports. So we are going to design a survey to send out to Irish businesses and cultural centres, societies, clubs, to ask for information in order to compile something that can be live links on an eventual website. We hope that all subcommittees can be listed on with similar information. So I hope, and we had suggested as well, we're going to meet in between our committee meetings here. We will meet once a week and update each other on that. So the hope is that we have a website for the Connecticut Ireland Trade Commission. On that website, we will have links for each subcommittee, and that each subcommittee will have update those links on their own portals there. I hope that comes to fruition. So now I would like to ask anybody else who has met with their subcommittee if they would like to update our members.
Colin O'Neill, I volunteered to be chairman of the trade subcommittee. I haven't got any other members, or I haven't got any response from anyone who wants to join me. I would need some help, and because that has a quite extensive portfolio if we get going. So I'm open, available to meet with anyone anytime.
Colin, it's Greg Butler. I'd be happy to help you.
Thank you, Mr. Butler. So Colin O'Neill and Greg Butler on the Trade Commission. Are there any other members who would be interested in serving on that subcommittee?
Tom O'Day.
Thank you, Mr. O'Day, Tom O'Day also.
I'd also like to be included. Stephen Meskers.
I'm sure you have Meskers, Sheridan, Moriarty, Butler, and just added O'Day.
And Madam Chair, I was trying to do this right, I had my hand raised, yes, and I also would like to be on the Trade Subcommittee, please.
Thank you very, very much.
And I go by Tom O'Day or O'Day.
Which would you prefer, sir?
O'Day. I'm being somewhat funny.
Thank you. Also, we have the Education Committee, and I believe that Dr. Keneally had previously said that she would like to be on the, of course, on the Education Committee, and I think that Marty has also said, calling in? Yep, thank you. Thank you, I'll check it right now. And I think that those were all our committees: trade, education, tourism. There was a tourism section as well, I believe. And that was tourism. So we are looking for any other members who would be interested with Mariah Moriarty for tourism, a tourism subcommittee. Yes, yeah, it seems, again, there's crossover there, so maybe we should take that on board as parts of arts, culture, heritage and tourism. Make all that one. Okay, so arts, culture, heritage and tourism, all one committee. So Mariah will be with us. Okay, I'm thinking that maybe she wants to become part of arts, culture, heritage and tourism.
Yeah, that would be great.
On our committee, we have Paddy Lashane, Emmett Riley. That's what, yes. No, not trade, arts, culture, heritage, tourism. That's our subcommittee. Yes. We actually have 4 now. We have Emmett Riley, Paddy Lashane. Oh no, we had indicated that we were arts, culture and heritage as well. Yes. Right.
I'm sorry, my mic wasn't on. So we have 4 groups, 3 subcommittees, 1 task force. The task force is Loretto, Emmett, Dunleavy, Moriarty, and Patty Lashane. That's for the database collection for
Right.
contacts.
Okay.
Then there's 3 subcommittees, tourism,
Yes.
education, and trade. The tourism, you want to put in with the database collection? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Okay, so arts, culture and heritage are part of that data collection. Yes.
Okay, so now we're just going to have 3 groups.
Yes.
So the task force, which is basically the database collection of contacts, businesses, any outreach, names and collections, you want to put in that also, you're going to have weekly meetings and that is going to envelop the tourism, arts, heritage and culture.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that makes sense to me. Now, Paddy and Lashane and I have already met as arts, culture and heritage, and that's why we're collecting all that information under that title. But it makes sense to me that tourism would be part of that as well.
Okay, so
Okay.
now
Task force would be
moving forward,
arts.
there's 3 subgroups.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so 3 subgroups. All right. Sorry for that little sideway there. I think we have trade. We have Representative Meskers, Sheridan, Mariah Moriarty, Greg Butler. Yeah. Marty, you were on our task force as well. Yes. Education. So let's return to Chair Professor Keneally, Ed Cullinan, Martin Dunleavy, and I believe that's it. We've covered everything there. So if it's helpful to other members, we're actually meeting bi-weekly. So in between the 2 weeks in between that we meet here, we will meet with our subcommittees as well. And I think, does any other subcommittee member want to have a talk or update the group?
Madam Chair, this is Joan Hartley. I'm sorry, I wanted to also be on the trade subcommittee, please.
Trade yes, ma'am, you're on the trade subcommittee. We've listed you on that as well.
Okay, thank you.
And O'Day, I have O'Day here as well. Thank you so much. And I believe we can move on now to some open discussion. There are members here who want to mention a couple of events, I believe. Colin O'Neill, if you want to take the
Yes,
microphone.
thank you, Madam Chair. I would just like to let everyone know there's a very significant, important event on Irish Unity. It is Saturday, October 25th at the Irish American Home in Glastonbury from 2 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. The Commission on the Future of Ireland is having a discussion with the diaspora, Irish descendants, and anyone's interested in Irish Unity. It's a free, open to the public. There'll be some light refreshments. And it's, in essence, they've had meetings all across the country and in Ireland, and getting the conversation with people, an open discussion, roundtable format, and to begin the conversation about Irish Unity. The overall project is by, many of you know, or you're educated about, the Good Friday Agreement provides a mechanism for a referendum on Irish Unity. The goal would be to have that by 2030, a one-day single question referendum on both sides of the border to decide whether or not Ireland reaches a unified country. Obviously, there's a tremendous amount of work, discussion that has to be done prior to having that referendum. So this is one of the beginnings of that. And I'd encourage you to attend or encourage other your friends to attend. I've attended a couple of them. They really are eye-opening as far as reaching out to the average regular person, and they have a saying, you want to unite Ireland, let's talk about it. With permission of the chair, I would send around the information to the clerk to be forwarded out to you. And if you had any questions, I'd be glad to answer it. The featured speaker is Marie Farrell. She's a TD from Galway. She's the featured speaker. Thank you for this time.
Thank you, Mr. O'Neill. And I also believe that Mr. Dunleavy also has an event that he'd like to make members aware of.
Well, we don't have an event per se, but we're going to have an event. A couple of years ago, several of you participated when we did a fundraiser for the Irish American Partnership, which is a fund set up in the United States to aid underprivileged children in schools in Ireland. We set up a Connecticut Irish Technology Committee for that fund and raised approximately $8,000. Shortly thereafter, the staff person from the Irish American Fund left to become the CEO of the City Museum of New York, and they just replaced him. And we met with his successor, Marie McNamara, last week. We're waiting for a date, probably in April or possibly May, of doing another event. Any of the money that we raise here in Connecticut will be designated to schools that need technology, that just are such rural and poor areas that they can't afford tablets and laptops and other technology for the students. These schools are either rural or urban. They're underprivileged children to the extent that the community reflects a diverse religious community. The schools have to be non-sectarian schools, and they are in both the north and the south of Ireland. Last year, I think, or 2 years ago, I think we bought like 30 or 40 tablets plus the software and a couple of desktops for a school in Limerick. And we work very closely with the Irish American Fund to identify a school.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dunleavy. That sounds like a very worthwhile cause. We have, I'd like to finish within the hour, so I have two events. One, actually, Dr. Keneally, you will know about it. Dr. Keneally is going to be speaking in New York City on November the 5th on behalf of a fundraiser for a workhouse in my hometown of Portumna, County Galway. So I would like to send on that information to share with members as well. It's a beautiful workhouse. It's been refurbished somewhat, but it needs some more work. And it really tells the story of the Irish famine in my hometown and in the County Galway. So before we finish up, a member who is a teacher has asked if we could meet later in the day. So we have 7 minutes that I would like to maybe, if other members would like to, talk a little bit about it. 4 o'clock is too late to meet, to accommodate a teacher whose the schedule is a little bit. Okay, can we open it up to the members on Zoom? Is everyone okay with meeting at 4 o'clock? I see 1, 2 thumbs up. So for our next meeting, I suggest we meet November the 11th. There's no holiday on that day, right? I think it's November the 11th, it's next Tuesday, at 4 o'clock. And I'll be here. Hopefully Emmett will be here as well. Are there any other questions before we adjourn?
The 11th is Veterans Day.
Oh, is it? It's Veterans Day?
Yeah.
So let's look at the calendar, I guess, and see when we're meeting again. Oh, we got a busy month. We got a busy month. Thanksgiving.
Thursday.
Yeah. So November the 18th, Tuesday, November the 18th at 4 p.m. Yes.
Let me make a suggestion that we we poll the membership. I'm all for 4 o'clock. It's fine with me. We don't have a big attendance here. We don't really have that large of attendance on Zoom today, though normally we do. But can we just send out a poll to make sure that, I'd hate to accommodate one person if 5 people are going to drop off or whatever. So if we could just do
That's a good
email.
suggestion. So if our secretary would accommodate us by sending out a poll from
Look
members.
out for a candidly email from me.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you for that. And with that, I propose that we motion to adjourn the meeting if there are no other questions. So moved. Thank you so much, everybody, and enjoy this beautiful Irish weather out there. Drive safely if you're driving. Bye now. Thank you.